Hello, my name is Daniel Tirado, and welcome to the first episode of the Built History podcast, where today this is an introduction episode. First of all, my name is Daniel Tirado. I'm a 16-year-old and I'm a student at Russo School here in Lima. This podcast is part of my mission project, which is basically a project where we choose a topic we're interested in and explore it more independently. In my case, I decided to focus on architecture in Peru, specifically in Lima, but not just a historical point of view. What I'm interested in is the architecture can actually use today, especially in tourism and the economy. My main idea is because most of the time, architecture is seen as something cultural, something from the past, or something that's just there. But in reality, in a lot of cities around the world, architecture is one of the main reasons why people visit. And that is something I don't think Lima is fully taken advantage of. If you look at cities like Cusco, for example, a big part of the experience is not just the main attractions by itself, but the city, the streets, the buildings, the way everything is preserved, the history behind them. The same thing happens in places like Cartagena. People go there because of how the city looks and feels. It has a clear identity, and that becomes part of the experience. And that's not just cultural, it's economic. Because when people go to these cities, they spend money, they stay in hotels, eat in restaurants, visit shops. All of that create jobs and economic activity. And then you look at Lima. It's kind of strange because Lima has a lot of the same potential. The historic center is recognized internationally. It has important buildings, a lot of history, and a strong identity. But at the same time, it does not feel like it's being used in the same way. Some areas are restored, some are not, some are active, some feel neglected, some are safe, some are very dangerous. Overall, it's very inconsistent. So, what could be the problem? Because this is not just about preserving buildings for the sake of history, it's about opportunity. If architecture is taken seriously, it can attract more tourism, create more jobs, increase business activity, and improve the image of the city. And that affects a lot of people. So, how can this help the economy? I think one of the biggest factors people don't realize that architecture can actually be part of the economy. It's not just something visual, it changes how the city is experienced. And when a city feels organized, clean, and well preserved, people are more likely to visit it and spend time there and spend money. And this is where I started asking myself questions. Why hasn't Lima done this already? Because the architecture is there, the history is there. So what is missing? It is the investment, it is the management, it is political. That's something I don't fully know yet. And that's part of why I wanted to explore in this podcast. So the main question behind this project I created was why is Lima not fully using its architecture as an economic advantage and what could be done differently? In terms of structure, it's going to be a four episodes. The first is this episode, just an introduction, explaining the idea and the setting. Sorry, 4 or 5 episodes. The next episode is going to be a more restoration of the historic center and how it's being managed using insights from Luis Martín Bogdanovich, gerente of ProLima. And then I'll move on to the economic and political side with Pedro Laechea, and I'll also include perspectives from tourism side, including an interview with Juan Stossel to understand how cities usually attract people. And finally, I'll bring everything together into a closing idea. But there's one idea I want to leave clear from the start. It's architecture is not just cultural, it's an economic power. And I think Lima has a lot more potential than what we're currently seeing. So yeah, that's where I wanted to start. And thank you all for listening to me.